So how are we going to get there? How are we going to sell 30 to 60 million bucks in 18 months, in the first 18 months anyway? You hang in there, we'll tell you how. Okay, well, how's the guys? GB, Mike side. Right, how are we going to make this whole thing work? Well, actually, it's not all that difficult, okay? Quite honestly, it's quite simple, I think. Look, firstly, we've got a fantastic product. That's the major issue. We're not trying to sell something that requires really hardcore marketing and stuff. This stuff it's there. It's right, okay? Elsevier Grunewald was telling me the other day, this stuff is 160 million years to 200 million years old. And she made sure that I understood this because her husband is screwed up. He's a geologist by profession and a paleontologist by hobby. And, well, he's probably better than most paleontologists anyway. And he's resident in Clarens, makes an incredible job. I think they call him the dinosaur doctor because he has got a doctorate, okay? So, yeah, and then we got Golden Gate. Let's not forget that. I mean, that interpretive center is incredibly modern. It's jacked up. It's ready and waiting for the international market. So we've got product. It's not a problem at all. So moving on, we have to start firstly training people to do things like crochet work, carving, all kinds of little items. Okay, and I have listed it out. I've got a book that I can let you have. Got a whole range of products. Okay. And those products range from pottery to garden furniture. They're not garden furniture, but that's stuff that people grow plants around and it looks like a dinosaur, that kind of thing. Made out of wire, things like that. There's a whole range, okay? So put the range to one side. Otherwise, that's going to confuse the discussion. What we have to do is employ the services of professional people that know how to make, say, pottery or some sort of carving. We need to find the right people, okay? And they will tell us what tools are required. Can we? And I mean, the specification will be very simple. It's got to be portable. It's got to be work in an environment that's hardly got electricity, or when we have got electricity, it's not going to suck up a whole lot of power because nobody can afford it. I mean, the stuff's going up at 33% per annum, and we told them we're going to force it down. Well, that hasn't forced it up, So that's the problem. We've got to watch all those costs, okay? And then, somebody that's really important in this whole game for me is Irene Rugenheimer. Irene came up with a plan about this container village, or container city, I think she called it, and makes use of 6 or 8 containers, okay, which would be in the budget, and they would be the training sector and the selling sector of the product, and that would be where everything happens, okay. Now, the municipality will kick in, and I'm sure they will. I mean, there's good guys there. They're not all bad. Don't even listen to it. There's some really good guys. We can work with them all. That's fine. And they would allocate the property, and we would obviously buy the containers, put them in, install it, get people in. So the training providers would be qualified people, okay? Then, of course, the selection committee. We have to select X amount of people, budget dependent, from the community. That's the hard part. I've told you about that before. We use a container, a little small tin or something. Everybody's got their ID books. And if there's 200 and you can only employ 50, then the first 50 books that come out get the job. And as I explained to Christine of Biz News when we were talking about this, it's hard. It's bloody hard. But, they look at you in the eyes to say, we're living on hope. I mean, it's like a gamble. It's terrible. But, I would love to have 100 million rand budget. Come on, Elon Musk, where are you, China? Bring us some bucks. You're a South African. What's your problem, We need guys like you to bring some money home, okay? That's old African tradition. Bring it home. So, and I'm serious about that, Elon. Where are you? Running around making mega millions and tell us you're South African, but this is your home, China. Okay, dokes. So once we're through with that training, that'll take 12 months, okay? before we're ready for market. And by that time, there should be some product for sale, and training will continue. And by the way, you have to pay those people through the training and into year 2 and to year 3. What you do is to diminish the income and up the sales so they get compensated that way. Because you want this to be sustainable. You don't want to have to end up paying salaries for the rest of your life. I'm talking about the government or the municipality. They can't afford it. Or the sponsor, for that matter. They don't want to hear about 25-year plan or something. I would say 3 years max, they want to be out of it. So this sustainability target would be 3 to 5 years, okay. I would push for 5, they would push for 3, we may settle for 4, something like that. But it'll be a diminishing income and an increased income from sales. And as far as sales goes, the big issue there is visibility, okay. Now visibility we can would be a PR function, mostly PR. You can't afford advertising, especially with the rand dollar exchange rate. You can't afford ads in some magazine overseas. Well, everybody would love you to do it, but we just can't afford it. I mean, I was looking at some numbers for a Dinosaur Festival just to advertise it in South African media for 600,000 rand. And that wasn't a wild made advertising campaign. It really, I mean, I felt ill when I looked at the figure. I thought, oh my God. But it's, they're a cartel at the moment, aren't they? I mean, they're all claiming to be the best. And so there's no ways that we can afford 600,000 rand for the weekend's festival. It's got to be a lot of PR, get it going on PR and create that interest, okay? Now, bear in mind, there's a huge market overseas. The international market is large and it's exciting and it's dynamic and they spend. Helen Clarens told me that they are local artists, beautiful, beautiful woman, absolutely incredible art, lovely. And she discovered something, and it's not something big, but the international people buy from her. But she said quite clearly, don't try and sell them a 1 meter painting. They can't put it in the suitcase. They buy little things that they can take home. So obviously the dinosaurs we make out of, let's say, out of wood carving would probably be 100 to 200 mils. They would also, soft toys would be the same. You don't want to make a 1 meter high dinosaur and expect somebody to buy it. Look, there are exceptions, okay. We do know that some people buy ships and stuff by some shipping clock or shipping agent or whatever. But that's more the exception than the rule. I mean, we want to sell to the rule. We sell a lot every day. The 257 program would kick in because we would now see income coming in 5 days a week. Why 5? Because the international market will come in. You can't expect guys from Joburg to come down during the week. They're working. Bloemfontein, Durban, and so forth, they're working. And that's the market that we've been trying to live off, but it doesn't work. I've explained that enough. 2 days out of 7 with 7-day overheads, you work 2 days out of 7 to pay 7-day overheads. And we should be working 5 days to pay 7-day overheads. And then we can pay the municipality, we can pay everybody and still make some money to take home. So that's the plan of action. It's not a difficult one. The difficult one is getting a sponsor. Simple, that's all we want. And that sponsor should be at the Department of Tourism. Without a question, and we're not asking for a lot of money. I mean, they can ship the venue from Cape Town to Indaba, they shipped it to Durban for 200 million or something. I mean, come on. We're not even asking for a quarter, a tenth of that, It's madness. Just give us a couple of million and we'll have the show running in over 2 to 3 years. And people will be employed sustainably and out there selling goods. I mean, that'll do such a lot for the hospitality trade will pick up, which creates more jobs again because they need to get their washing done. They've got to create, it's like booking services. Hotels will be booked a lot more often, so therefore they're going to buy more food. And so it goes on. The whole system the wheel starts turning. Slowly in the beginning, it's not going to be dynamite. Slowly in the beginning, but over 3 to 5 years, it'll be, in my prediction, within 5 years, will be 300 million in the Eastern Free State alone. With that lovely figure, 300 million, I think I'll leave you on that one. You now have a triple obies or something with a Durbany. Yeah. And Buxton sends her regards, by the way. God bless you. Hey, you take good care now. God bless. Cheers, eh?